this weekend we participated in the Duelist Cup Championship. We keep calling it the Duelist Cup. DC Cup, Duelist Cup, Nan Bread, Sahara Desert, you know how it is. The WCQ, the World Championship Qualifier. Here's a spreadsheet taking a look at some of the collected deck lists over the last 24 hours that people have been posting on Twitter. Of course, there's a huge amount of decks missing here. But as you can see from the breakdown for some of the deck lists, we've got about 25 of them have been collated. And there's some really interesting and cool results. Going into this Duelist Cup, for the coveted World Championship spot, each region gets one position. You have to be rank 1 in your region. You have to be the best Latino. You have to be the best American. You have to be the best European. +1. Europe gets 2 spots. Just as a region that has... I think it's something to do with the splits of the DC Cups already having some Japanese players, perhaps. But yeah, basically, TLDR, very exclusive. I think there's only like 10, 12 teams total that get to go to the World Championship out of the literal tens and tens of thousands of people that participated in this across the world. So it's very exclusive, very small, and it's just a different ball game. So yeah, here's the deck list and some of the results over this last weekend. And rank 1, number 1, global rank 1 in the world, would you believe it, somehow, some way, shocker, how could this happen, is Task. This may or may not be, I think, like his 4th or 5th, like, just win of these things. Not top, not, you know, 2nd place that gets you carried over, not season points that get you into the World Championship. Win. Like first, like rank 1. And not only was he rank 1 in Japan, he was rank 1 global. Because you only need to be rank 1 in, like, Latin America if you want to be the Latin representative, etc., etc. No, this is rank 1 global. He gets this basically all the time. I think he's like 3rd or 4th victory. And he did it with, very shockingly, really surprisingly, he played Crystron. Crystron. For those of you who follow the podcast on Heart of the Cast, you know we had Judeo on. We were talking about all the viable decks for this format. And I think it was pretty much on everyone's radar that Snake Eye would be the best deck, as it has been for a while now. Very consistent, lots of hand traps, good engines, etc., etc. And Task is out here playing with Crystron. Unbelievable, honestly. So what is Crystron? For those of you who don't know how this works, since most of us here are probably not attuned to the TCG format because money, real cards, cardboard. Crystron is basically a deck that has 1 2-card combos, 6 1-card combos, a couple of double interactions that you can do by either Tributed Summoning Salvador using like the Millenniums or getting them out of the deck with the Zombie Vampire. And basically, what you want to do with Crystron is you want to set up your Cyber Dragon Infinity, the Infinite Impermanence monster. Imperm is now a boss monster in Crystron, with the Crystron Trap card. It's a really cool trap card. It says that you can shuffle back a Crystron from grave or banishment, and you can pop a card. Now, another really cool thing about this that sometimes people miss is that the SP Little Knight is... the SP Little Knight, you know, trying to banish your Crystrons and stuff to, like, get rid of your follow-up in the graveyard or get rid of the trap card, has this really cool, niche, hidden text, secret effect that Yu-Gi-Oh! Players might miss, in that its Crystron cards you control can be banished. So it's really good against SP and any sort of banishment removal. But yeah, that's kind of the deck. You just set up Infinity. You have a quick synchro on your opponent's turn with something like Citri. Citri quick synchros into the Dragster, which is a level 7 machine synchro you can make on your opponent's turn that will cause a spell and trap negate. And if you set up Citri plus Tristeros, you can also potentially, with 2-3 card interactions and combos, end up on a Quarian Gandrax on your opponent's turn, which basically banishes 3 monsters on the field or graveyards for your opponent. Very cool, since you can also deal with the graveyard, meaning you can banish engravers, you can banish their field, and when it's destroyed, it special summons any banished monster. Cool things you can do with Quarian Gandrax is banish, like, you know, Baron or boss monsters, right? After you've baited them out, and then summon them to your side of the field after you destroy them with the graveyard effect of Tristeros. If you want to know how to hand trap this deck, if you want to know where to stop this deck, generally, don't Ash Blossom the spell card. Don't Ash Blossom the Smyger. Wait for the interaction. Salvador, usually, or Ash Blossom on the tuner. It has a grave effect that it destroys the synchro you control and e-tellies 2 Crystrons from the deck. That's a good one. You want to stop that one. Anyway, now it's really weird how well this deck did. Over 25%. It's more technical, at least at this point as of recording with all of the collected deck lists, it is more represented and better statistically than Snake Eyes. How could anyone have predicted that a deck would be better than Snake Eyes? Well, I guess it's just decent at going first and second. It's kind of got a little bit of everything. You can go first, get Engine with Millenniums to make Zombie Vampire if you don't draw any of the Crystron cards. If you don't draw lots of Crystron cards, what does that mean? It means you've drawn lots of defensive cards. So 1 Millennium plus like 3 or 4, hand traps, like you're not breaking that. You're not breaking Infinity, Trap Card, Quick Synchro into Dragster. 3 interactions plus 4 from the hand, potentially. Like, it's really strong. And there's multiple different builds of Crystron that we'll probably talk about as we see going along. Here's Gimlet. I believe he's Korean. Okay, good. My racism radar isn't broken. Gimlet also has a build here. You can see that Millenniums are the ones that are been played the most. And he's even going so far as to play 3 Golem. Golem is usually like the 1 or the 2 of. You want to play like 3 Sengenjin, 2 Golem, 1 Golem maybe, plus the Wedge Temple. He went for all 3. Reason for that is Doom Dragon makes Crystrons really nice. Because you can just use the Golem, get the field spell, scale a Crystron, and then when you make the Doom Dragon, it puts the Crystron in the graveyard. Pretty much every Crystron has a graveyard effect. So it's just really nice synergy with the deck. And of course, playing lots of hand traps and defensive cards to back up your 1-card Crystron combos. DD Crow's interesting. Maybe hitting an Engraver can be quite clutch. Flamberge, before, when they link it off. Maybe if you DD Crow before they link off, when they scale, if they have 1 less number. It messes with that. Merl, I guess, if they go Neptibus, send Dragoon for cost, you can instantly, not Dragoon, Shadow Squad is usually a really good one. They go Dragoon, send Shadow Squad for cost, you can DD Crow it, and then it won't trigger. So, interesting choice with the DD Crow. He did cut it for a little bit. One of his other lists here that he posted, he used both of them. He bumped Nibiru up to 3, it looks like, in this version. Played a Veiler. But yeah, lots of defensive cards plus your Crystron combos. 1 Sulfafnir, I think, is maybe the most interesting thing. I don't know what Task played. Was Task also on 1 Sulfafnir? Yeah, 1 Sulfafnir. I think some people have tried to play like multiple Sulfafnirs because like, oh, you want lots of Crystron cards to try and combo. But what you'll find is like Crystron is better as a 1-2 card combo deck. And you just want to rely on the hand traps and stuff to protect yourself. Okay, anyway, that's my big yap on Crystron. It's like the one deck of the format that I actually know reasonably well. Snake Eye! RJ. 70. I mean, these are just like disgusting numbers, right? When you just consider the fact that rank 1 Latin America, Judeo, was at 57k, and he was like 10k ahead of second place. It's like so. I mean, I guess he didn't have to play more. Maybe he could have got higher. But it's just crazy just how dedicated to the Duelist Cup some of these players are. Here's a Snake Eye list here, playing 1 Golem, as you can see. And I don't think there's anything particularly special about Snake Eye, right? I think the Snake Eye has like 14 mandatory extra deck cards. I think there's a world where you can cut Necroquip for like Hita or something, maybe. I don't know. There's really nothing too special about Snake Eye. This version is playing triple tactics. Some people like to go just with full hand traps, I guess. Judeo played 0 games, 3 days. Yeah, I mean, that's just because of how goated he is. That is true. He just didn't need to. He was so far ahead of the competition that he didn't actually have to play any more duels. It's crazy. Speaking of which, we can bring up his list here, which is right here, 57k. He played Merl. This seemed to be more of the standard. I think Quanto played something kind of similar to this. No hand trap. Well, no spells and traps. No imperm as a defensive card. Just going with like the maximum power hand traps where possible. So Maxi, Fua, and then Ash to prevent your opponent from Maxing you. Called by, but also Sekka's Light. Now, obviously, Sekka's Light and Called by do clash. But the idea is like, you're not going to draw both of them together. And if you do draw both of them together, it's actually fine. Because you can go Sekka's Light, and if they Ash it, you can chain Call by the Grave. Which is... Sekka's Light has a restriction. You cannot activate spells and traps for the rest of this duel, but you can still chain to it. So you can still stop Ash Blossom on something like Sekka's Light. And if you have Sekka's Light, your opponent probably wants to Call by you. sorry, maxi you, because your Sekka's Light might draw Ash Blossom to negate the maxi. So it's really good to just have Call By as your other spell. But yeah. I didn't notice that Judeo was playing only 2 Abyss Rhine. That's interesting. I think Rhine is crazy. That's like your best extender. But everything else is, I guess, fairly standard in terms of the monster lineup. I think like the unique thing about this is Merl is running Sekka's Light. I don't know if that was a thing in TCG, but yeah. 3 Poseidra, Sealosanth, he got pilled on it. The Gamma Seal is really good. The Gamma Seal... I played Judeo's list. Every time I drew Gamma Seal, it just felt so good. Gamma Seal is absolutely crazy because against Snake Eye, if you draw Gamma Seal, it just outs 4 negates by itself. You just bloop. Gamma Seal over the Apollousa, Poseidra, special summon, target Desiree's sequence to bounce the equip spell. If the Desiree doesn't have an equip, it doesn't negate. So just 2 cards plus like a normal summon Neptibus. That's like a 3-card combo. Just engine. Well, I don't know if a Kaiju is really an engine piece. Kind of. It's water. You just three cards. You beat the full Snake Eye board with Merl. It's really insane. This deck was crazy. He said that this is the best deck I've ever played. Final score was 145 wins and 86 losses. That is a crazy win rate, right? 60% win rate? Is my math correct? That's a 60% win rate, right? Which, at the highest level of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is absurd. Wrong math? EU math, dude. Is it 86 divided by the total? Yeah, that's the one. Wait. Hold on. I can do this. 145 plus 86, 231, 231. 145 divided by 231, 63%. There you go. Did it. Woo! I can math. 63% win rate at the highest level is really impressive. That's a very high high win rate for this deck. And he also didn't win as many coin tosses. His coin tosses were not as great. Speaking of Merl, here's Quanto's version, which is kind of similar. Quanto played... Let's see what the main differences are. So Quanto played... No Sealosanth! He's wrong. Fuck Quanto is wrong. Sealosanth is my goat. But anyway, Quanto played the Sekka version as well. 3 Abyss Rhine, because it's goated. He played Trishula. That card's insane. And Typhon, which is really good. So Typhon, if those of you who joined my stream over this past weekend, when Quanto was the main streamer for like an hour, he showed some of the replays, beating players like Christian Urena, for example, who's won YCSs, by the way, with Merl. Going second, by the way. You summon Typhon, you bounce Chengying, you attack Dweller, and then you pass with Abyss Rhine Engrave. And somehow you just win with Merl. This deck is crazy. Just summon Neptibus, set up Abyss Rhine for their turn, and then you just win going set. It's actually crazy. So yeah, the main difference is, I guess, is no Abyss Keeper. Abyss Keeper is a link too. That specials a fish from your hand. So if you hard draw the Sealosanth, which is a brick, you can summon it out of your hand. You don't really want to like get it... You don't want to draw it. You want to special out your deck for free with Abyss Rhine, which is why it works out as a really nice extender. I really want to know the logic why he played 2 Abyss Rhine. Abyss Rhine seems crazy. Quanto played 3 and 1 extra copy of Neptibus with the Deep Sea Diva. So 4 copies of Neptibus, basically. 3 Nibiru, 3 Fuwa, 2 Maxi for defensive cards, plus the Call by the Grave. I really like the Kaiju. Honestly, I love the Kaiju. I don't know if you tried it, Quanto, but every time I was playing the deck and I had the Kaiju, it was so nice. But yeah, that's Merl. And yeah, I think like Snake Eye isn't going to be that much like, you know, crazy stuff to talk about here. Let's have a little look at the Snake Eye decks, for example. We've got Game Endeavor, who ended on 70,000 points, by the way. Here's Snake Eye here. He played Pilgrim Reaper. Or is that Wallow? That's Pilgrim Reaper, right? So obviously the big loss for Snake Eye was Beatrice because it means that Fiendsmith is an engine, right? Because previously, if you get hand trapped on Diabell, normal summon Ash, hand trap, you go Fiendsmith combo, you make Beatrice, you send the Snake Eye Ash, you revive it with the Princess, boom, there you go, Snake Eye combo. Difference being now is with Beatrice ban, you don't have engine with Snake Eye. Sorry, with Fiendsmith. So there's kind of like wacky combos you can do now. You can dedicate 2 extra deck spots to Flame Banshee and Chorozo, which lets you fuse into Chorozo to overlay to 2 level 4s. I think it's Lacrima and Chorozo overlay to Banshee to add Poplar. That's how you can theoretically get Engine with with Fiendsmith in Snake Eye. But no one really does that. Instead, he's playing Pilgrim Reaper, which is the same logic as Zombie Vampire in a way. You go Pilgrim Reaper, mill 5, and then you'll just mill the guy you need to special summon from your graveyard with the Princess, which is maybe why he's playing 3 Oak. This is quite interesting, right? Like you don't really see 3 Oak. You typically see 1 Oak. Sometimes you see 2. 3's wacky. So we're just waiting for someone to top one of these events playing Birch. That's when we'll know that Snake Eye has truly ascended and evolved, is when we get the triple Birch ratio. So that's shout outs to him for playing that. What else we got here? Memento. I don't know anything about Memento, so I'm not even going to bother trying to interpret what's going on here. Seems like the Goblin quick play spell is kind of standard these days. Helps you dodge Imperm, Veiler, Hand Traps, Disruption. Bone Party, 3 Fusion, 3 Droplet. Same logic, I suppose, going second. Normal Summon. Your Normal Summon, I guess, in Memento, I'm pretty sure is like very important and super vulnerable. So you can dodge like Interruption with it. Now, this one dumbassery bullshit thing that this deck is doing, which I've never seen in TCG, is this asshole here. Paradise Smashers. From what I understand, this card is a generic rank 5 that you make in this deck, where you just make it in Memento because it'll just, I think 80-90% of the time can just win you the game. It's VFD if you roll a dice. So during your main phase, detach 2 materials. Each player rolls a 6-sided dice. The player with the higher total can't activate monster effects or declare attacks until the end of the next turn. So if you go if you go first, you can combine this 2 level 5s, 92% to win, 4% to draw, 4% to lose. You need 3 5s. The player with the higher total until the end of the turn. If the player with this card has material, you can treat the other one. Right, okay, I see. So if you make it with 2 materials, it's a complete gamble. If you make it with 3 level 5s, you can change one of the dice rolls, which is when it has materials. So if you have 3 materials, you detach 2, you keep 1, you can change one of the dice rolls. So you can stack your dice roll versus your opponent. So the math chance telling me is like a 90% chance with 3 5s to just VFD your opponent. And we all know what happened to that card. Literal table 500 ass combo, by the way. So that's what Memento's been doing. Has anyone seen this in the TCG? Has that topped in the TCG? I've never seen this in the TCG. I don't even know how you make that. What is 3 level 5s? What is that? Horse, Acheron, and like... Is it multiple Horse and Acheron? Canines have been doing it. It'll be banned before Canine. 2 Horse, Acheron. Jesus Christ, man. All right. That's so degenerate. That's so... You know what the most annoying thing about meta decks is when they try and like do this kind of stuff. It's hard enough playing against the meta deck if you're on something a little bit low to the ceiling, low to the floor. It's absolutely infuriating when the meta decks get floodgates. Like, that's crazy. Yo, Billy deck list. Let's go. The highest rated Brandy, apparently. Although I think Abu Hamud will be here somewhere. Photo, real image coming soon. حبيبي والله ما راكش تعطينا الايماج يعني مليح باش الناس يشوفونا عم بالك احمد شنو هذا حبيبي وش راك تدير ما تعرفش وشنو print screen what is this how are people it's crazy to me that someone can be so intelligent to play branded because I think like a good branded player just has like maybe like 5 to 10 extra IQ than just any other Yu-Gi-Oh player, just by default, right? Like the highest, smartest branded player and smartest Snake Eye player, I think they just have like slightly more IQ, but they just don't know how to use print screen apparently. Like second, maybe almost highest rated branded player on the planet doesn't know what a print screen button is. Like, what is this? Anyway, here's a list that you can actually visibly see properly. 60 card seems to be the go-to these days. And you can always tell, by the way, these people are so dedicated to the cause. They play the all arts, all right? They're all art Andes. Look at this. Full playset of Aliber and Albaz. Well, Aliber playset and then 2 Albaz. You only need 2. Just also playing the Ecclesia, the 1 uppies ratio as well. Uppies! But I think maybe, let's see, does Abu Hamud also play? Yeah, look at that. 2 all arts, 1 uppies, 3 Albaz, 1 normal Aliber, maybe. See, you would have qualified if you got the 3rd one. 3 Saranir because it's an engine piece, 2 of this guy. Like, just like, what are these people doing, man? Like, like, if you guys didn't know we were looking at a branded deck list, you would not know what that is. If I was to, if we were just sitting here and I randomly showed this to you outside of the context of talking about the DC Cup and branded, you wouldn't know what that is, right? Like, you just wouldn't know what that is. All right, let's do a little test. I'll tell you what. Let me send this to the Wonky Quartet. What card do you guys think this is? Hopefully before this video ends, we'll get a response, okay? See, I've sent them a message, all right? This card right here. Let's because they don't have our contact. Let's see if they know what this is. Thank you for the deck profile, Abu Hamud. Appreciate it. Wallah, habibi. It's beautiful stuff you've got there. All right. Jesus Christ, someone got rank 41 with Gimmick Puppet. So I learned the hard way how to, what the field spell does in Gimmick Puppet. I mean, I kind of knew what the deck did anyway. I just, I forgot because it's been a while. One of my matches in the Duelist Cup, my opponent goes, activate Condolence Puppet. Okay, you know what Condolence Puppet is? It's Foolish Burial. You go Foolish Burial, okay? What do they send? Biscuit Doll. You know what Biscuit does? You banish it. Just natty activation of a card effect. No requirement or cost affected to it. Really just banish from graveyard. You cannot target Gimmick Puppets for the rest of this turn. Okay, I look at the Imperm in my hand. Guess I'll shove it in my ass. Okay, cool. Next play. Activate Field Spell. Okay, cool. Field Spell. All right, unaffected by stuff or something. Cool. So the one way to beat Gimmick Puppet FTK is you Imperm them at some point. Ideally before they give you the horse to your side of the field, because then you're locked out of Imperming. Usually maybe the rank 8 that searches the equip, the rank up. You can Imperm that, maybe. You know. But we activated Bistol. We can't activate. We can't target it. Okay, cool. Activates the field spell. Normal summons the boy. Does his thing. He gets to a point where, in my mind, off of my vague recollection of how Gimmick Puppet works, it's after he applies a bunch of string counters, I go activate Nibiru. Nothing happens. In every other game of Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you draw Imperm and Nibiru going second, you think to yourself, this is an auto-win. Against Gimmick Puppet, nothing happened. You know why? The field spell says your Gimmick Puppets are unaffected by activated monster effects. That's why Imperm is the one card that can beat the Gimmick Puppet FTK. But he led his turn with Bisdol, so fuck me, I guess. A lot of Crystron Andes down here. It's crazy. Let's see what else has been going on. Any interesting deck lists? That's not Crystron. That's Memento. Why do I keep clicking the there we go. Here's a Crystron deck list. Is this one we saw earlier? No. Okay. Millennium Engine. It's crazy. I swayed away from using the Millennium Engine in Crystron personally at the start because I just thought they weren't very good into Fualos and Max C. So I tried to go for the Horus monsters instead and the Kashtiras because they play better into the special summons. So I was playing Fenrir and Unicorn, but they just aren't engine in the way these things are. Side deck DLC? How does this guy have a side deck? I don't know. I guess he played the same list as he does in the OCG. Here's one cool card in Crystron that I think people have been missing out on, actually. So this guy was playing it here. So this is that card you sent, Royal Titaniclad? I see a green bird with a beak. Titaniclad Royal, 100%. I think it's Hatsune Miku. Thank you, Doug. Fuck off, Gage. How did you know that's a Royal Titaniclad? Piss off. Bro's played too much Card Guesser. He's stream sniping. He doesn't know. He didn't actually know that. right, anyway, Crystron. So, this card here, this is Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight with a K, Clockwork Knight, the Link one that requires 1,000 or less. It's Almirage for machines, basically. This has an effect that you can send a continuous spell to search Clockwork Knight. Clockwork N-ite, not Knight. So this Clockwork Knight is a card that you can play in Crystron that is searchable with the deck by sending a Millennium Piece, or even the spell card, to the graveyard to search for fucking, like, the equivalent of, like, DNA surgery. When that shit is searchable, it's very good. Now, question. My body as a machine. What can I no longer make if my body is a machine? That's right. Requiem. Were Fiendsmith deck. So going first, if you play this, it is a brick. Crystron just has, like, this pseudo FTK versus Fiendsmith decks. Now, the problem is, like, Fiendsmith isn't very popular. Like, Fiendsmith as a deck. Obviously, it's a very important, popular engine in Snake Eyes. But as a pure deck, basically no one was playing it, except Josh, because he likes that deck. Randomly, Josh decided to play that deck and jam it for a few games, and he went, like, 15-1. He was down in the boonies on day 3 or something, or day 2. He just suddenly fell down almost, like, to the Farfa ranks. And he was just losing to, like, some garbage. He swaps over to Fiendsmith. He wins, like, 15 games in a row or something. Climbs back up to 50k. I don't know how. The Fiendsmith that just started winning games from him out of nowhere. But then it started losing, so he had to swap to Tenpai. That was a very dark part of the stream. We don't talk about that. But, yeah, the pure Fiendsmith didn't really end up becoming a thing. I guess it just isn't powerful enough. But, yeah. Now, what else do we have? I suppose the one other deck that's worth talking about is Blue Eyes. So the highest rated American, Joey Chu, Kaiba on the rankings, you may have seen him. He was playing Blue Eyes. And we don't have the deck list yet. I don't really know what you can possibly do in Blue Eyes to make it any crazier unique. I really do think bro just had a very lucky streak, because I don't think there's that much you can do with Blue Eyes to innovate. I'm pretty sure he wasn't playing Magia or Fusion. There were some Blue Eyes players teching like Shen. Instead of making Spirit, you make Shen, which is obviously, you know, kind of disgusting. Any card sent from the field to the graveyard is banished instead. I'm not sure if he was doing that, but he managed to get a fiery streak all the way up to 70,000. I don't even know if Joey played any Yu-Gi-Oh! On day 3. I think it was like a Judeo situation where he, like, just went on a complete tear at some point, hit 69,713 points, parked his ass, and just dipped. The closest NA came to getting rank 1, and by the way, you need rank 1 in NA. NA only gets 1 spot this year for Worlds, unlike EU. EU gets 2 spots. I don't know what he did, but he just played day 1 and day 2, went on a tear to 70k, and then just parked the bus. Didn't move. Didn't play a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! On day 3. So, yeah, crazy. America just didn't stand a chance. Kaiba himself apparently decided to show up for this DC Cup. It is what it is. Anyway, so I think that's pretty much it for most of the stuff here. I'm trying to find the Blue Eyes deck list. The closest thing we have to a Blue Eyes deck list that's been posted, at least, is Shimotsaka at a comfortable 53,000 points here. And yeah, you can see there is really nothing special about this. There's an extra normal summon because Sage and Maiden have gone to 1. So just to bump the mathematics up a little bit on the ratios, we're playing 1 Kaiser as an extra normal summon, and we've also got a copy of Piri Rice Map. I don't like that. I don't think you need to do that in Blue Eyes. I think there was another card you could play in Blue Eyes for a little bit more consistent. I can't remember what it was. But another weird thing here is we're playing Ultimate Fusion. Bingo Machine. Yeah, I don't know why you just don't play Bingo Machine instead of Piri Rice Map. Because Bingo Machine can just reveal 3 wishes. Which is pretty strong. Anyway, so he's playing the Ultimate Fusion. I don't really know what it does. Like, it just hard makes Tyrant Dragon, I guess. Because there's no Magia here. We're not trying to do... you know, for fun gaming. But everything else is pretty standard, but there's the Shen we talked about. So instead of Spirit Dragon, you can make Shen, which is a Macrocosmos turn 1. pretty good. One thing that I thought was weird is Ultimate Fusion. Oh yeah, it also pops a card. I forgot about that. Yeah, I randomly lost it at this week. I completely forgot. It's a fusion spell, but it also pops on resolution. I completely missed it in one of my games. The Shen Shen tech is obviously disgusting. Baron is kind of funny because like it's really nice on your follow-up turn after you tag out with Blue Eyes. On your turn 3, you can just immediately use the Maiden that has been special summoned onto the field, and then you use that Maiden and a Spirit Dragon that you have left over, floated from the Ultimate Spirit, typically. The 9 plus the 1 makes the 10. You go into Baron for the turn 3. Some of you talk about Lina. I think Lina's pretty standard. I played a little bit of Blue Eyes this weekend. It never came up for me, but Lina's good in the mirror match. You can remove things out their graveyard. Like if they play Jet Dragon can be really annoying to deal with. You can just get rid of Maiden as well. And you can also just use it for OTKs. So yeah, Lina also is just like nice utility if necessary. But yeah. Nothing else really worth talking about. Oh, here's the strongest Tenpai player showed up at 52k. So not board breaker, actually. I mean, obviously playing some board breakers, but lots of hand traps as well. Tenpai was an absolute menace every time I played against this deck. Put it this way. If you go first and your opponent has no toggles and they just sit there and watch you do your cutscene cinematic and you're just playing Snake Eye and you're just playing Crystron and you're just comboing and your opponent is just sitting there toggled off like... I lost every game. I just lost every game. This version, however, looks like they wants to hand trap you. Some of the Tenpai versions over this weekend, you know, it's like you just play like all the gas, right? You play triple Upstart, triple Into the Void, triple Engage, a Widow Anchor, an Afterburner, and then like, you know, the Droplet, the Lightning Storm, the Duster, the Storm. What else do you play? Like some people were playing Raigeki, Change of Heart, and then you just turbo through your deck and then you know, get to Pedra and rip apart their field and Kaim in effect, and there you go, boom. Nice way to fight through all of the Snake Eye decks, potentially. Didn't really see too much of it. At the high rankings, I saw a lot of it because we were not high ranked. Anyway, I think that's a nice little recap. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. DC Cup was absolutely amazing. For all of you who showed up to my stream, thank you. For all of you who tuned in and hung out, it was a great time. Really appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow, which you'll get the Chef Crash Out, and then you get meme review after. Subscribe for more Farfa highlights. Bye-bye.